Hi, welcome back to the Practice Room Podcast. Our hosts today are
Andrew,
Cora, Abby,
and I'm Levi.
Today, our first guest is our very own director, Mac.
Woo! Yeah!
Hello. Nice to meet you all.
Could you tell us a bit about yourself?
So I am Mr. Macdonald. I'm the choir director here at Valley Vista High School, and I have been here my entire life. No, I'm just kidding.
That's great.
I have been here. This is my 8th year as the director here, and I also graduated from Valley in 2013. So I was a student here, and now I'm in my 8th year here.
Old. Need some change. Nah, I'm just kidding.
What made you want to be a director?
Probably various things. I had a really awesome director in high school named Mrs. Corley, who I really looked up to and loved. And my choir experience here was really cool because of that. And then I actually went to college and studied under Mrs. Corley's mother-in-law, Dr. Corley. She was my voice teacher in college, and I don't know, I grew this love of choral music, and I was like, I don't know, I have this inherent love of choir, and I just don't think that I would be able to do it like anything else in my life. Like I wake up every morning just like very grateful that I get the opportunity to just like do this every day. So I think when I discovered that was what I was really passionate about, I was like, I just need to do that regardless of what the path in front of me looked like. I just started walking. And so then I just kind of ended up here. It's kind of crazy. It's been a wild journey.
long wild.
How would you compare your high school choir experience, like at Valley Vista, to what it is now?
Oh gosh, it's so different. Now we're like this full-fledged show choir program. We have kids make all-state. We go on travel to California. We have these really elaborate set pieces, custom arrangers, hired choreographers. When I was a student here, we like originated Vocal Thunder. So I was in the room when we named the choir, and I was in the first ever VT. And so that was like just so rudimentary. It was just very simplistic. We were just using whatever arrangements we could find. Our costuming was just like shirt and tie. And there were 6 boys. And so that's just been kind of crazy. Like it was just very simple back then, and it was just the one show choir. Now to have like 4 of them, it's kind of wild.
Vocal Thunder was the first choir, was it?
Like the first show choir.
Okay.
Yeah, we had concert choir, mixed choir. And that's what existed my freshman year. And then my sophomore year, show choir started officially. So I didn't even have show choir my freshman year. And then we like created show choir for my sophomore year. And then it just kind of took off and grew from there. So now there's 4 show choirs and a concert choir, mixed choir. So it's kind of crazy. But yeah, very different choreography, very different arrangements. It was like, I don't know, it's like choralography. It was just like a lot of like step touches and arms.
Or like,
Yeah, just very easy stuff.
Well, so you're just, you were just sitting in the room, like you guys are coming up with a name in Vocal Thunder. Like, how did that come to you guys? Like, do you remember? Or
No, I probably don't remember. It's wild. Now I'm like almost 30. I don't remember anything. No, I'm sure that the choir club just like named it. Me and my brother, who's the director at Willow Canyon, we dispute who actually named it, and it's just one of those like urban legend things because it's like, who actually named Vocal Thunder? I'm sure he did though. But I'm sure just the people that were in the class like needed to decide on a name, and that's what we decided on, and it's kind of just been like, I don't know, it's like mythical. Like there's
it's like the only name that hasn't changed.
Yeah,
right?
it's like untouchable, right? It's just Vocal Thunder is Vocal Thunder, and the program's gone through a lot of different like names and changes, but that one will just always remain. So
Okay, like if you were in high school, like what set would you want to be in? Like that we've done. Like if you could be a student in any set that you've like directed, what set would it be in?
I feel like I would have found a lot of them cool, but probably Captain America. I think that for multiple reasons. First of all, it was like simplistic and easy. So I would have not been as intimidated with the dancing, but also like the vocal qualities in it were really cool. And then obviously Muppets. Like I have such a strong affinity for like quirky, wacky, theatrical kind of acting. So Muppets would have been so cool. I think everyone who went here would have lost their minds. It like had something like that happened. So the fact that we just like talk about it nonchalantly now is kind of funny because it's like we've gone so far into left field. We're like talking about like fog machines and lighting and like it's gotten crazy, and it's funny how we talk about it because if I got to hold a Muppet in high school, I would have been like, that's it for me. I mean, my yearbook quote was "Life's a happy song," so that's like.
Did you like ever think that it would like grow to be this big?
Well, when I say growth, I don't think that really I mean numbers. because I think the program's kind of gone through like swells, like hills and valleys. Like at one point I remember I had a freshman choir that was breaking the fire code in the room. Like it was like almost 70 people. I had a show choir of almost 70 of my first year, maybe second year here. And so it's not necessarily about number of bodies, but I do think we've grown in obviously like planning and process so much that it's just like our knowledge has grown, our ability has grown because we're bringing in more people, we're using custom arrangements. Like our knowledge and our depth of knowledge has created a way more like rigorous program. So I think in that way we've grown, but I don't know. Like I think the numbers, like show choir is really cool, and so I'm not surprised that we have as many kids interested. But I am surprised at what we're able to accomplish with the people that we have, for sure.
I have a weird question. So, if you had a group of students in front of you, and you had to put on a set that you know would convince them to join show choir, what would it be?
Is it like a new idea or like a set I've already done?
Either or.
I mean, let's hear both. Let's hear both.
Yeah.
Okay, if it's a set I've already done, I feel like the one that would get people to join would probably be like Twilight Zone or Weird Science.
Weird Science for sure.
I think both of those were just so cool. Like I think like quote unquote cool, right?
Yeah.
Also Hamilton, just like cool vibes, and I feel like everyone can watch them and be like, oh, that's so epic what they're doing. Even when they weren't the most masterful, right? Like I think that we've done things that are more successful that weren't that like inherently cool. And then in regards to like a new set, I don't know. I feel like it's just like pop culture things. I feel like if you base something off a show or a movie that's popular, like that just people are really interested in that. So I feel like if I was to do something probably like a little bit weirder, like Tim Burton, like Beetlejuice or like Addams Family, like I feel like that would just like get people involved.
Back to the Future set.
Back to the Future would be pretty cool. I've heard a lot of people talk about Back to the Future also.
I like Disney movies because everyone likes Disney.
Yeah. Like everyone.
Like especially like things that like, you like grew up with. I feel like whenever we see like a show like at comp or like whatever, and it's based off like a show that we seen like when we did Magic School Bus, like that was like really cool.
Yeah, and I also I think that like different people have different like interests, because I know that there have been some set like ideas that people have really like loved, and then other ones that same people with the same like it goes back and forth. Like I was shocked last year that some of our pommies were like so about the Muppet set, because I wouldn't have thought that they would have been. And so like just different people love different ideas, and they love different like ways to be on stage. So I don't know. I think that the biggest thing that people see that they want to join is just everybody working together and presenting a story on stage. I don't necessarily know if it's about what story we're telling or just like the vibes of the storytelling. I think that's kind of what like gets people to be involved, is the culture and like what they're seeing on stage in general. Yeah. So
with like all of those sets, like obviously you have your favorite sets, is there anything about those that you would change now looking back at them? Because
there's a lot of different things that I would change about different shows. Weird Science, I would take away like half the choreography, and probably like
that was hard.
And probably like 3 minutes of the runtime. I was kind of naive, because we were just kind of getting started with custom arrangements and with competition. I was like, oh, we are an intermediate choir, so we need to have a set that's like 18 minutes long. Ooh. And so then that first year when we went in and it was 18 minutes long, I was like, by minute 12, I was like, when is this ending? And that was my own group. So I think that the next year with Captain America, I was like, okay, like runtime is super important, because it doesn't necessarily matter, right? Like I can settle on 14 minutes, even if another director would like their show to be closer to 18 or 19. You can't keep my attention for that long. And I know that audiences are going to have less of an attention span than me, the director. So I try to make them nice and short and sweet. So it's like, and it allows us to clean them and make them more masterful and be really, really meticulous. Weird Science was just out of control. It was too long, too much choreo, too difficult vocally. There was no hills and valleys. It was just like all big vocal. So definitely would have changed some things there. And then this is such a random one, but it really bothers me because it's so random. When we started wearing petticoats, I just was unknowledgeable about like how to wear a petticoat, and like those first two shows, Twilight Zone and Weird Science, like the petticoats were down below the dresses all over the place. And now looking back at it, I was like, how could my eyeballs not see that and be like, pull out the petticoats? Like it's like crazy to me watching back when there's like small details like that now that I'm so meticulous about and so detail oriented. to think like, oh, I've always been this way. But then I go back and watch and I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, what is going on? So just like little things I think like that make a huge difference where I watch things back and I'm like almost embarrassed. I'm like, no, I could have done better with that. So, yeah.
A lot of it's different. So.
If you could see any like choir kid taking over the programming teacher, who would it be?
Okay, is it like a current choir kid or a past choir kid?
It could be like anyone who's in it now, or it could be like someone who's past graduated.
Well, I'll give both. How about?
Yeah, do both.
Okay. Alumni, obviously Luke Lumberg. He's like studying music right now.
Not that good.
Okay. No, he just like, you know, I think that his knowledge is really high and his like kindness and patience. I can like see the heart of somebody that would be a good teacher and like really impact people through him. And then current students, I'm gonna say Andrew because I know that Andrew is like so gung ho about it and really wants to be a director. And I've not seen Andrew like not get things that he sets out for. So I feel like he's just one of those people that when you know, you're just like, oh, he's totally gonna go and do all the things he wants to do because he's Andrew and that's what he does.
He'd be so good.
So yeah.
That was so sweet.
He's gonna cry.
Oh wait, where was the question? Oh gosh. Oh, what set do you think is like your biggest success? Like when you retire, like what's the one set?
Yeah, well, I'm hopefully far away from
but yeah,
this.
but right now, like right now, when you like look past at everything you've done, what like set or like moment has been like right now like your
Weird Science?
Do you think?
Oh gosh, no, Captain America. It's a hands down. Yeah, I think that I had never thought. You always have imposter syndrome in many things that you do in life, and I think that I was skating by on imposter syndrome for a long time, thinking like I'm just kind of going through the motions of what I'm supposed to be doing and designing a show and putting it out there. And so I had no intention of Vocal Thunder like being in a place probably ever to be winning. Mm-hmm. I just thought like this is just like our lot is just to like go out to California and be so blown away by these schools and not really be in it. Mm-hmm. Right. And I thought that was just like always going to be the case because when I started, VT was novice and was getting like third in novice. Like we were really struggling to make ends meet in novice. So then after COVID, when it was like we're gonna step up into intermediate, I think that was like I don't know what made me make that choice. Obviously, I think it was just the fact that Ignition, I wanted them to compete, right? So I had to bump VT up. And that's like the greatest like situation, right? Because I had to bump them up. I felt like I had to. And I was like, this is really throwing them into the lion's den. And then like, look at what happened. Like they were able to take that and I was able to take that and be like, what do we need to be successful now in this division? And so nothing has felt better than VT winning Captain America and Intermediate because I really never thought we would even be able to ever go toe-to-toe with Los Al and Burroughs. Like I was like, the fact that we beat those schools, I don't know. I was on a next level of accomplishment and feeling just like, thank goodness because of how much love I have for like all the like the people in this program and all like the people that work to make these things happen, to be able to be like, look at what we actually were able to accomplish. I'm sure that everyone just felt this great sense of like breath of fresh air to be able to be like, yes, what we're doing is right. Our process is right. The way that we do things is right. And I think it really just gave us a lot of confidence moving forward. And I would also just like double down on that to say like Muppet set, like then stepping up into tier 2 and getting a second place and a third place in tier 2. Like that's wild. I am mind blown that the freshmen that are in this room that were in Weird Science got third in Intermediate. And now we're like third or second in tier 2. Like it's just like the growth is crazy.
Or that Voltage placed second when freshman year VT placed third.
Right, so the Magic School Bus set plays better than the Weird Science set.
That's
I
crazy.
never thought
You never thought about that?
No, I didn't realize that.
Is there like
I didn't realize
is there like a set or like a group or like program that you've seen like that was like your like inspiration or like a set that you saw that was like
Los Al.
Los Al.
I gotta be honest, like every single set that they do, like I'm like, I feel like that's a great idea. Like it's just like I feel like the storytelling and the way that they like they're the way that they're smart about it. And I wouldn't even I'm not even necessarily talking about like their top groups. Like I'm talking about like their novice intermediate groups always impressed me. Their girls group this last year did like a prom or like a I don't know, it was like
prom.
Yeah, but it was like so inspired. I was like, this is so good. And I felt the same way about the Only Murders in the Building set. I was
That
like,
one was
that's
so
an
good.
A.
I
I
was
was checking
so
with
cool.
Smooth Criminal. I was like,
yeah, I just feel like they are like I oftentimes watch their shows and think like that is what I want my shows to look like in their cleanliness, in their vocal. I feel like they really have like a similar style where it's like Midwest inspired, but it's still that California or that West Coast style. Because I feel like that's a lot of what we do, right? We're like really good singers. Hopefully, I don't want to speak too early, but we're really good singers. But we
suck.
but like we really have that kind of Midwest style, but then with the theming and the storytelling that I love. So, yeah, Lois Out all the way. I'm such a big fan of them.
what like has there ever been like what has been like your favorite set that you've seen
Ever?
like ever?
Weird Science.
Mixed choir.
We're just saying that for every
Technologic.
single question. Weird Science. No, I saw Clinton Attaché when I was a first year teacher. I'm obsessed with the Beatles. I love the Beatles. I think they're the greatest band ever. But they did a Beatles set, and I was in the room watching it live at Los Al, and I was like, "There's no way that this is real life." I just felt like high schoolers doing this. It felt like I was watching a show on Broadway. It was crazy. And the way that they sang, they had like drums that turned into trampolines. They had a live.
I remember you
So
showing me that
they
video.
had drums, like they had a drum kit that said like whatever Clinton Attaché on it in the Beatles style.
I
And then
need
they
to
put
see
them
this.
on they like flipped them onto the ground and they were trampolines.
Yo.
So
They were doing,
like,
like,
the boys
flips
were
over
like
people.
jumping up over other people.
I need to see
Every
this.
boy had a Beatles haircut. Every single one of them had the Beatles haircut.
Was it like
It was
There was a car.
There was a car.
there was a Volkswagen Beetle on the stage.
That's
it
what you
was
were talking about.
it was insane. I've never seen anything like that live. I was completely blown away.
Is that what like got you like that was the set that was like I love show choir.
Yeah, I think it probably like hooked me more. Yeah, that first year though, I went with a group and I actually ended up getting a first place trophy. I only had one group that first year. It was Ascension. It was like what Vortex is now.
Yeah.
But we did a waitress set. It was my first year ever, and I was like, we're gonna do waitress, and
Full circle.
we went and
Full circle.
But we went and we won novice, and I felt so proud of them. But that was just all part of that same trip. Seeing Clinton Attaché was insane. I was like, okay,
I need to see
the fact that show choir could even be that, I was like, how do I make that happen for myself? And so I've probably been chasing a little bit of that, chasing a little bit of that since then. So
That reminds me of like before 8th grade, I would go watch my siblings and I'd be like show choir. Like I wasn't paying attention because
Yeah.
I'm a crazy kid. And then 8th grade when I watched Twilight Zone, I like logged in and watched it for the first this is like the first time I walked in and I was like, oh, I'll actually watch it for once.
Yeah,
and
Twilight
just sit
Zone
down.
was.
That like locked it in. me. I
Twilight
was like,
Zone was one of the first
Yeah.
sets I truly remember watching.
Yeah.
I remember, like, in middle school, we would watch American Idiot. And my teacher would be like, oh, this
Oh,
is, like,
yeah.
what you could do in high school. And I was, like, shook.
yeah, it's kind of crazy with Twilight Zone too because we didn't compete that year. It was after COVID. We didn't compete, and it's like I don't know. We just had full creative freedom. In the same way that I felt about Hamilton, right? Like I knew we weren't going to travel with it, so I was like, how can we make this really, really like storytelling heavy?
but then
so,
that took a lot of time away from the spring set though, because we spent so much time on Hamilton.
Oh gosh, yeah,
The
no,
turntable.
but even with Twilight Zone, like we had like the projector coming down and like voiceovers, and we remade the intro to the show with like Luke's voiceover. It was and we like linked all the shows together that year. Like it was so fun to not have the pressure of competition. Like I know that competition is like what now like drives us like in many ways. But honestly, like having that year off was like it was really cool because there was nothing like there was no pressure. We were just like creating. It was really fun, I think, and it was probably really good for us too because they were custom arrangements. Like we still use custom arrangements, and I think I'm trying to remember. That was the first year I brought Destiny back as a hired choreographer because she was a senior in the COVID year set. So
Is there like okay, with competing wise, would there be like another year where you choose not to compete, just like get that kind of refresh and like?
my philosophy.
We've almost done that
No,
this year.
my philosophy
Yeah, but-
is that I like things feeling different, and I want my job to feel fresh. So I'm constantly trying to make something different every year.
Mm-hmm.
Like this year, I'm like, now we're gonna do jazz concerts. Like I always try to make something happen differently because I don't want my year ever to feel like Groundhog's Day and feel the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not I'm not gonna sit here and be like competition's always guaranteed. However, I mean, I'm hooked now. Yeah, like it's like one of those things where it's like you realize how much it motivates people and how much it brings people together and how special those moments are, even if you don't win. Like last year, like I know we got our victory at Boulder Creek, but other than that, like we didn't, like not a single group got first place, and I still look back so fondly on those moments and all the victories within that, right? Like Vortex getting second place, getting best music, like so many victories that I would have not thought possible. And had I not gotten the validation of competition, I might have thought if we'd competed, we wouldn't have done well.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, it's a really great way to kind of like gauge your success for the year, to be like, to put it up at a competition and see how it does. However, I think also like we're trying to create a circuit in Arizona. So I don't think that necessarily means that we always have to go to California, even more than once. It doesn't mean that we ever have to always go to California, right? Like Boulder Creek has a comp. If we have a comp, right? Like we can try to get this circuit going in Arizona where it's like we can do more local. That would probably be my overall goal, that in 20 years, it's like we have our trailer just like everybody else and it's like band competitions. Like we go to like Boulder Creek this weekend, or Willow Canyon the next weekend, and we go to whatever, Horizon the next weekend, and we go out to Mesa the next, like I would love for that to be a thing. I just think that it's so new.
No
in
Disneyland
Arizona.
though. That's the thing.
Yeah, we'll go to the Mattel theme park.
Or like
The Mattel.
we'll go to Dutch on Bell.
Dutch.
OG Bell.
It's dumb.
OG
Not that we have five.
If like
we don't have
if you
five.
could like choose a state to go to, like if like money wasn't an issue, if we could compete in like another state, where would it be?
Florida, baby.
Midwest would be so cool. I don't really know much about it, other than the fact that everybody loves it. So obviously the Midwest would be cool, and also the East Coast. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of places I would like to go. If I was talking about just like nearby, like probably like, I don't know, like New Mexico, Texas, like other places that are closer. But obviously the Midwest or the East Coast is like what I want to do. So, yeah.
Do you have any questions for us? Anything?
Sure, yeah, like I would love to know, not that it's like an exit interview, because I know that you guys like, you have a lot more time still. You're not like graduating. But like when you like think about like, no, stop. When you think about your time with the program and think about like, all the stuff we've done here, like what are some of the highlights for you in regards to like things we've accomplished or things you've learned from the program?
I think like thinking back now, I would always think, oh, like, this is so annoying, like, having to learn choreo in class, but, like, I don't remember any of that. All I remember is, like, just being, like, the feeling of the curtains about to be opening is, like, that's, like, the best feeling ever. Or, like, performing for, like, I know someone's there watching me right now, like, my family.
Yeah. Well, I always
Like-
tell people, right, when they join choir, I'm like, you have to get through that first semester
Yeah.
of rehearsal because you hate it.
It's the performance.
And then all of a sudden you
It's
get to
the
concert and
performance.
you're like, this is I'm hooked.
It
I
makes you
love
hungry,
this.
yeah.
I
do better with my siblings.
For me, it's always like right before you go on,
Yeah.
And like I remember like there's a couple of times like especially like I think it was Hamilton the first night, I was like literally like my heart was like boom boom boom. Or
Yeah.
even Boulder Creek last year from Muppets.
Oh, Boulder Creek?
I literally was like
The bus, bro. Oh my
I
gosh.
literally was so scared. And it's always like right before, and like everyone has like this thing, but it's so funny where you have to feel like you guys have to go to the bathroom. That's really funny. Everybody gets this.
Yes.
Everybody gets that. It's so funny, but it's always like right before you go on, and as soon as the curtain opens, it just like disappears and it's like gone.
Oh my gosh, I have a favorite memory from. Okay, so we're competing, right, and it's the Magic School Bus, and me and Samira are moving the school bus around, and I kind of it broke against the wall, and Samira was freaking out. It was the funniest thing ever, and like her mom was backstage. And she was like, Samira, and I was like shaking Samira, like, we're gonna be fine, we're fixing it. And we ended up fixing it. It was like
I had
G
no idea.
moment.
I was watching
It was a
and
G
had no
top,
idea it was
top G moment. It was so.
Or like at
We locked
competition, especially at Oceanside, you can see everybody in the audience, and like looking at people during sets. I love
It's
doing that.
so much
Like I remember like at Losal last year
yeah.
during VT. At the part where like I guess it's something Losal just hasn't seen. There was like men at work dudes in the front, and like they literally like were like laughing so hard. It was so funny.
Yeah.
Or like I remember when VT sophomore year at Oceanside, we were watching because it was like John Burroughs was in the front section on this side, and then Losal was on the other side, and they literally were like you could just tell that they were literally so in it, and they were like this is like so cool, and that was really something.
Yeah, I guess my advice for you guys would be like, when I look back at high school, I don't remember much of anything, which is kind of crazy. Like when you think about like growing up and leaving this place and going and doing all your amazing things that you're all gonna go do. But like I don't think back to my day to day and really remember it, and I don't even think back to many big moments and remember it. Like I don't remember like my final concert. Like I really don't. Like I don't think that I remember any of that. So what I would challenge you to do is really try to take like mental pictures and take a lot of pictures this year on your phones, so that you can look back and really like cherish those memories. Because like I had like a flip phone with no ability to do that really. And I kind of like, I wish that I had the chance to like remember more of that. I don't know. It's crazy how much like your brain lets go of like old information. So I would just challenge you guys to like really cherish it and like really, really try to like remember it, because it's like a cool thing that you've done with your life that I don't want you to just like, like I don't want you to be almost 30 and be like, yeah, that was a cool thing that I don't remember any of. You know what I mean? Like, but I really, truly like, I don't remember much of it. There's a couple of moments obviously that like were impactful, but yeah, like I really want you guys just to like remember it and cherish it, and cherish the friendships and cherish the time, because it's like, it's winding down for all of you except Cora. Cora's gonna be around a while, but yeah.
Okay, well, that was our first episode with our own director.
Please listen to this podcast.
Yeah, you better have made it to the
Council
end.
really wants it to happen. So
If you make it to the end, come see me and you get a cookie.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
Bye.